Hi everyone, welcome back to our English lesson. This week we are going to continue with the second part of our lesson on Unit 1, Reading, a Window to the World. In this week's lesson, you are going to learn 8 adjectives to help you talk and write about your favorite books or authors. Towards the end, you will be learning how to use that knowledge to write book recommendations. And a blurb is something that can help you write your book recommendations. So what is a blurb? A blurb is a short description of a book or film or other product written for promotional purposes. And before we continue our lesson, let's do some recap of what we learned last week. So last week we learned 8 examples of book genres. And this week we are going to build on that knowledge with some new words and phrases to help you write about your favorite book. So if you are given a new book to read or to recommend, where can you look for information about the book? Well, book covers are a window to everything inside the book. So here are some important details you'll find on a book cover. The first one is definitely the book title. The book title is normally written in big font. And the second detail you'll find on a book cover is the author. And the third one is the publisher. A publisher is the name of a company that publishes a book. For example, this book, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, is written by Lewis Carroll. So Lewis Carroll is the name of the author, and the publisher is Puffin Classics. And here is another example of a book cover. Sometimes you'll find that they write the name of the author in a very big font. For example, Roald Dahl's books typically have the name of the author written big and bold. So Roald Dahl is not the title, but the name of the author. And for books with a lot of pictures and images, you'll find the name of the illustrator on the book cover. An illustrator is the person who illustrates the drawings or the pictures in the book. For example, this book, The BFG, is illustrated by Quentin Blake. So Quentin Blake is not the author, but he is the illustrator of this book. And here is the complete layout of a book cover. So on the front cover, you'll find the title and then the author. And on the back cover, you'll find the blurb. And sometimes you will find the publisher and the price of the book printed on the back cover. Now that you know what's on the book cover, let's take a look at the 8 adjectives to help you talk about the book. The first adjective is heartbreaking. Heartbreaking means very sad. For example, A Walk to Remember is my favorite love novel, but the story is very heartbreaking. And the second word is something that you already know. Interesting. So interesting means something that catches your attention. For example, Space Academy is my favorite book. The story is very interesting. The third word is brilliant. Brilliant means something that is great and very good. For example, Roald Dahl wrote many children's books. He was such a brilliant author. The fourth word is boring. Boring is the opposite of interesting. For example, I don't like reading books with no pictures. They are quite boring. The fifth word is action-packed. Action-packed means full of actions. For example, The Asset by Alan Peterson is my favorite thriller book. It's action-packed and exciting. The sixth one is inspiring. Inspiring is something that makes you feel motivated. For example, I love reading I Am Malala. Her life is very inspiring. The seventh adjective is reader-friendly. Reader-friendly means easy to understand. For example, I'm not quite good at English, but I like reading The Cat in the Hat. Dr. Seuss used simple English, so I find it very reader-friendly. And the last adjective is engaging. Engaging is something that catches your attention. If you are reading a book that is engaging, it makes you want to know more. For example, I love The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. It's such an engaging adventure book. Now that you have learned 8 adjectives for describing books, let's build on that with some basic phrases to help you write book recommendations. So what is a book recommendation? To recommend means to suggest. So if you are writing a book recommendation, it means that you are writing to recommend or to suggest a book for someone else to read. So how to recommend a book? To recommend a book, you have to answer these questions first. What book would you like to recommend? Who's the author? And who's the publisher? Why do you like the book or the story? And do you have any favorite character? So how to answer these questions and how to use that answer in your book recommendation. The first one, when you introduce the book, you have to say the title of the book. So write, I would recommend you to read, and then write the title of the book. And then you have to mention the author of the book. So use this phrase, it is written by, and then write the author of the book. If you must, you can also write the publisher. So use this phrase, it is published by, and then write the name of the publisher. It is written by, it is published by. So these two phrases are written in the passive form. The next part is the most important part in your book recommendation. You have to mention why do you like the story. So you have to convince your reader why the book is interesting. So use the story is or it is and then followed by the adjectives. And if you have any favorite character, you can also include it in your book recommendations. For example, you can say, my favorite character is. So let's see a sample of a book recommendation. This book recommendation is written for Matilda by Roald Dahl. Now let's read the recommendation. I would recommend you to read Matilda. The book is written by Roald Dahl and published by Penguin Classics. The story is fun, engaging, and reader-friendly. The story has interesting characters, and my favorite one is Matilda. I wish I could be as genius as Matilda. This recommendation is simple, but for your level, it has all the necessary details that can tell your readers why you like the book, and perhaps enough to convince them to pick up a copy on the shelf and read the book. This is the end of our lesson. I hope you'll find this lesson helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a message on my WhatsApp. See you next week. Bye!